I want to talk about being perfect. I hear a lot of Christians, a lot of people say, you cannot be perfect. And so don't worry about it. Nobody's perfect. You can't be perfect. But before I get into that, there was an assignment that I gave out last Sunday. And do you remember what the assignment was?
No, I don't.
And you were here last Sunday, right?
I'm sure that I was.
Yeah.
Practicing, no, I can't remember.
He's the Bible go-to guy, so I know he remembers.
Wrong. I do not remember.
The assignment was to test the spirit?
Yes. Did you do it?
Yes.
And tell us about it.
I just recognize the words as Satan and the voiceless voice as God, so I'm getting better at ignoring the words. And I have like little tests all the time.
All the time.
Find my wallet, find my keys, go here, go there. And it's like, what I learned this week was that Satan doesn't just want you to hate yourself and feel sorry about parents and all these, big things.
Yeah.
He wants you to lose your keys.
Everything.
He wants you to like go talk to some girl, or he wants you to do anything that you shouldn't do.
That's right. That is so. Isn't it amazing all the things he tells you and be talking to you about and want you to get involved in? And
I think
it's absolutely no wonder people go insane.
I think the amazing part is when you see how much effort and energy you put into your thoughts, and a fraction of that, you don't have any thoughts. You just remember where it was, or you just think all love all the time, or something like that. And then the words come out of you, and it's better than anything you could have ever said.
That's right.
And
that's deep. That is so deep. We could go home.
These things that you never thought you could even say, they make your loved ones feel good. They make them feel safe, and you cannot do that by reading a book or planning something, or you just can't.
Yes, sir. Wow. At least one Christian. He doesn't care about the thousands. He just cares about that one that's seeking him. G, did you remember the assignment? Oh, you did. Did you do it?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I like he said, I did it a bunch of times. Like even this morning driving here, I could see far away, like there was like a little traffic jam. And I could see it was a semi-truck. Something happened to it. And I want to look at it so bad. And that's why the cars are going slow.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look and
that's
worry
right.
about that. So that, and then I just had a bunch of things happen to me yesterday that I felt like he was just trying to frustrate me. Because ever since I started coming here, I haven't felt, frustrated or angry or any type of way.
Yes.
And then yesterday, it was just crazy.
So you tested the spirit. And what we were talking about last week, I said from this Sunday until next Sunday, I want you to test the spirit. Meaning, don't believe any thought you get. For 1 week, just don't believe them. Let them all pass, and you will hear from God. And God said, my children shall know me by my voice. And people listen to the voices in their head, quoting the scriptures and everything, and they think that that's from God, and it's not. And so I asked the congregation, for 1 week only, don't listen to the voice. And as you heard, most of them forgot. Didn't even remember the assignment. Even the Bible go-to guy. Wrong. But that's good, G. Stay with that. Doubt it, doubt it, doubt it, doubt it.
Even this morning, I wanted to go to the Starbucks because there's some pretty girls, and they're nice to me.
Not for the coffee, huh?
And I was, not really. I don't care. Because, like, when I go and there's some guys at the window, I'll be like, I wasted my money. You know what I mean? But I was like, I wanted to go so bad before coming here. I was like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen.
That's right. And it's amazing how the thoughts tempt you with that, and you can feel it.
Yep.
And then if you do it, especially since you're seeking what's right, you think, wow, I wish I had not done that. You were tempted by the thought to do it, you felt it, and you did it. That's good, man.
And I realize they don't like being watched.
Right.
They like disappears.
They hate being watched. The worst thing you can do to your imagination is to watch it. To watch thoughts, they cannot last. And because it's God who is shining the light on the darkness. And the darkness cannot handle the light. And your thoughts are dark. They are of the darkness. James, do you remember the conversation I was having with you about reality as opposed to non-reality?
Yes.
Can you share it with them so they'll know that this is real?
There's nothing real that we're thinking about.
Yeah.
The memories from, for example, your trip to Tennessee and stuff that happens that people think about or mistakes that they make and they try to fix it or they try to protect themselves from the consequences and they make it worse for themselves.
Yeah.
It's all based on non-reality. It's not based on what we have here and now.
You know how people they'll do something stupid, they'll get in trouble, then they'll try to fix it, try to prevent consequences, right? And so they'll go and try to resolve it and created a problem for themselves, and now they got to go through extra trouble. Whereas if they just realize they made a mistake or they did something stupid and have no opinion about it, it works itself out. Have you noticed that? And I was telling James that I went to Tennessee, and I realized today that it doesn't even exist anymore. It's like it never happened. It's done. It's not in existence anywhere except in my memory. And if I didn't think about it, it wouldn't even exist at all. And you know how God said, things are here today and gone tomorrow? They only exist in your imagination, and they only exist while they are happening. Like what we're doing right now is happening right now. Nothing else exists. And once this is done, this doesn't exist anymore unless you think on it. And a lot of people don't know that because they're so involved in the dark spirit rather than living by the light of God. And they live in the past. They live in memories. I was thinking even having a house. Right now, I don't have a house. There is no house. If I thought on a house, then there'll be a house in my mind. But how do I know? When I get there, the house could be burned down. It could be gone. But in my mind, there seems to be a house. But it's not. The only thing that exists is right here and now. Everything else is an illusion. And that's why God wants us to test the spirit, because you see how the spirit is deceiving you. It tells you what's going to happen tomorrow, and it reminds you of the past. And it neither exists except in our mind. And our mind is our enemy. Isn't that like amazing? The trip to Tennessee doesn't exist anymore. I can't touch it. I can't go back to it. It doesn't exist unless I think on it. I can tell you about it only from the mind, but it doesn't exist. I cannot go back and relive that. I can't go back. It's like when you have a fight with your wife or something. You can't go back and relive that. You just apologize and take this moment and move forward. That's all that exists. You can't make up for anything because it doesn't exist. Oh, I did you wrong. I'm sorry. I'll make up for it. How are you going to make up for it? And if you notice, whenever you try to make up for something, you can't never make up. The person's never happy. Because it's not good enough. You haven't made up long enough. You know, because you're trying to bring back something that doesn't exist anywhere. And isn't that deep when you really think about it? Satan got our mind. He got us believing a lie. We have to doubt it all the time. And as I said, test the spirit. Meaning, don't believe it and see what happens. Don't believe it and see what happens. It's so nice. Life is, when you do this, you're going to see that life is absolutely amazing. And nobody has any problem. There's no such thing as problems. It's an illusion. Accept what is, don't fight against it, relax in it, and live. That's what Christ came for. Did you have your hand?
I used to be very unhappy and fearful, and I used to be depressed because I would dream about some fancy car, big house, and because I didn't have it, I would always want this thing. I always felt sad that I didn't have that thing. I didn't have that car. I didn't have that house. And so I couldn't live now, and I would be depressed and sad. It was only because I fantasized about the future.
That's right.
It poisoned my present. It poisoned everything in the present. I couldn't be happy now. And really, all you really need now is just air. You know, you need hope. That's all you really need. You don't really need all those things to make
Be
you happy?
grateful for what is. Be grateful for that. If you could develop the right attitude about this moment, this right now, it will blow your mind. It really, really, really will blow your mind. And rather than thinking about what you have or don't have, who liked you or who don't like you, where you're going, where you've been, you need to think on these things. If God said that it could be this way, let me seek Him to find out how to become that way. Don't reject it. Don't say it cannot be. It can be. Christ came that it may be. Did you have your hand, G?
It's funny you said that because I remember I used to skip practice sometimes for my jiu-jitsu stuff, and my coach, next day he'd be like, where were you yesterday? And I'd be like, I'm here right now, the only real time.
That's right.
And I just keep going about the exercise, and he'd just laugh.
That's right. Come into the presence of God. Come into the presence of God. That's all that is important. It's so deep. It's so deep. When I was in Tennessee, Patrick and I was watching this Christian show. I was flipping through the TV channel, and I ran across a guy by the name of Sid Roth. You ever heard of him? Well, Sid Roth is a preacher. A what? He's been on my show before. That's the same thing Patrick said. I don't remember it. But, see, I told you it didn't exist. And so he was on TBN. And so he was interviewing this man who said he at one time was an atheist. He did not believe in God. And then God came and gave him, in his sleep, he gave him a dream or a vision that he should be a healer, that we can heal people, right? People who are sick and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So he was interviewing this guy, and this guy was talking about how he go around and heal people. He's now teaching other people how to be healers as well. And that how you know how you lay hands on people and heal them? I used to do that, by the way. Even before I started Bond, I was a member of another church, and the preacher used to teach healing. And I believe that you can heal people. And so I really got into healing people, put my hand on and heal them. And then one time I got a call from a hospital where this guy had some type of sickness. He was like really sick. He was dying. And so I got a call to come in from his family. And I went and I did it. And I was young too. And so I put my hands on him, I prayed for him, and he was healed. I felt the spirit leave his body, that sickness that he had leave his body. And it scared me because Satan said, oh, that went into your body. And it scared me then. I stopped doing it. I literally felt that spirit leave his body. Isn't that something? It felt like a dark energy. It felt like a wave went past me. And I felt it go, and I thought it had gone up my arms and Satan was working my mind. And I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I stopped doing it and I forgot about healing. And so this man was saying that we can heal. Children of God can heal. We can heal ourselves. We can heal others. But people are not doing that anymore. And I thought, wow, that is so true. I never think about laying hands on someone that's sick or hurt and heal them, right? And then I was thinking about, my producer, he hurt his back about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. Can barely walk. He's a little better now. And he started going to this doctor, and this doctor started putting needles in him and whatever the doctor's doing, and he's paying money to the doctor. I said, you know what, that's a shame that when we get sick or something happens, the first thing we think about is going to the doctor. We don't think about laying hands on ourselves and asking God to heal us. When the last time you thought about something like that? When you got sick, your first thought, let me pray for healing. And yet we are children of God, the healer. But we don't think, I never thought about laying hands on James. I told him what to do. Run some hot water, get in the bathtub with some Epsom salt. But I never thought of laying hands on him and praying for him that he might be healed. And I believe he can be healed. How many of you believe that? But we never do it, huh? Do you? Yes, sir.
I know why you didn't do that.
Why I didn't do it?
Yeah.
I forgot. I just told you why.
it's put into all of us. Satan has kind of put this forgetful nature in us
Yes.
because we have the power inside of us, but Satan put thoughts in our minds because we are spiritual, so we do have the talent, but the forgetfulness from Satan
We have it
put
to do
ideas in our head. And
We are children of God. If we are truly sons and daughters of God, we have all the power and authority from Him given to us to do all these things. And just imagine the impact that that will have on people who don't believe in God. If they see us living that life, enjoying it and believing and living a different lifestyle, not non-judgmental lifestyle, but a different lifestyle, and just imagine the impact that we can have on the world. But due to the lack of faith, we are living like the children of darkness. We're mad at each other. We don't like each other. We're sick. We're down and out. Don't have a job. Can't handle anything. You know, just messed up. All in the name of Jesus. That's amazing. Bible go-to guy, what haven't you thought of healing? You the Bible go-to guy.
I have, but I don't know how to do it, spontaneously beyond my thoughts telling me to do something. And I don't want to listen to that.
Right. I'm going to get back into it. So next time somebody gets sick, let me know. There's this bum that goes up and down our street. I haven't seen him lately. And for some reason, he's all over the place. We can travel to another city. He's there too. And something keep telling me, go up to him and ask him if he believes in God, and ask him, could you pray for him? And I have not done it because I'm listening to this lie in my head that this guy will beat me up or something. Because he looked real nasty, real bad, and he looked like he just would attack you. And I'm listening to that lie. I know that already. And I keep telling myself, well, the next time I see him, I'm going to do it. And then I saw him up in Hollywood. And my first thought, well, how in the world did he get to Hollywood? If he's poor like that, how he get to Hollywood? And then I see him down the street here from the office hours. I think I pointed him out to you, didn't I, James?
Yep.
I did, yeah. And what did I tell you? You remember what I said about him?
We spotted him, and we were like 5 yards away from him, and we were looking at him going, because he's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Or possessed looking. And you said that you could rebuke the demon in him right now.
Yeah.
But you're a little nervous. And then so you said, should I? And I'm like, I don't know.
And you said what?
I said, I don't know.
Two Christians. And so the man got away again. I hope God don't punish me for that. Because I totally believe that that's what that man was sitting there for. But I'm listening to the lie that the guy gonna beat me up because he looks so nasty. He's like all black. He's like real black and real dirty. And then he got this kinky, nasty black hair. Like he haven't washed it in 10 years. And he just looked awful. But I believed that he could be healed. But I was scared to do it. Isn't that something? But that's going to change now that I know. And I didn't get any help from James. Should I do it, James? I don't know. Instead of saying, yes, brother, in the name of Jesus, let's go heal this man. But hopefully somebody else did it. Have you ever thought about healing someone?
No.
Are you a Christian?
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, I've said, get behind me, Satan, or something like that when I've been scared or when I've been going through something that's been rough or when I have certain thoughts. But to heal myself, the only time I've really been hurt is I had a broken leg, broken knee, and I don't know how to heal that by myself, or my back was badly messed up.
And so is your first thought to go to Jesus or go to the doctor?
I was like, Jesus, please get this pain away from me. But then I went to the doctor.
Yeah. We got to change the way we live. We are supposed to be living because we are of the source that gives us life. And nothing of this world should get to us. Nothing. No lack of, no breakups, no get-togethers, nothing overcome the world. We got to overcome the world. We should be actually living, and when you start to live, you're going to find that life is absolutely amazing. It really is. Life is something else. It really is. And it's nothing what I or you or anyone can imagine. It's totally opposite of what you can imagine. Life is really something, but you got to stop listening to the devil and his little demons. Yes.
I agree with what you're saying. Have I tried to heal myself? No, but I do understand what you're saying. And when I get beyond my thoughts and live, it is a different way.
It sure is.
I remember I was walking back from lunch, back to my job, and there was this guy, big, tall, black guy. And you could just see right away he was a little bit out of it, maybe high or just maybe crazy or both or whatever. And he walked by this little tiny white guy, and he just stood right in front of him like he was going to, like, get out of my way. And so the white guy walked around. But then I'm staying a little bit back from him, trying to avoid the situation a little bit, because it doesn't make sense to just jump, in front all the time.
Right. That's right.
But he went into this store and he kicked this chair, and there was a lady and her kid right there. And there was guys all around sitting there having food and doing whatever they're doing, and nobody said a word.
Yeah.
And so I went up to him, and in my mind, this guy's way bigger than me. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to kill me in front of all these people. But I told him, I said, you better get out of here. And he looked at me like, don't start no trouble, real loud.
He said it to you?
Yeah. And I'm just real quiet. I was like, you need to get out of here. Because nobody did anything. They almost hit the kid and all that. So he's like, don't start no trouble. And I said, I'm not starting trouble, but you need to get out of here. What are you going to do? And I said, stay around a little bit and see. He just looked at me, turned around, and walked across the street. And I was like, whew.
All in the name.
But it was all up here. And for him, it's all up here, too.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
all I did is just stood up and looked at him and told him what he should do.
People who are walking the streets and talking to themselves and quoting the Bible and looking all crazy and dirty and nasty, they are possessed. That's all going on. And I can imagine that during Jesus' time, when he was walking the earth and stuff, if he ran into those kind of people, he healed them. He didn't run from them. He didn't talk to James, and James said, I don't know if you should go there. He healed. And we have the same power and authority to do it in his name. We have the same power and authority to do the same thing. But we need to put our cell phones down long enough to do it. Sorry, Robert. Robert like all into his cell phone. We got to put it down long enough to do it. We got to seek first the kingdom of God in his right way so we can return to the Father and start living that way. It's amazing. It's in us. It's in us to do it. We're supposed to be the light of the world, the salt of the earth. There's nothing in us that's saying that. We're not healing. We are angry. We're worried. We're in bad relationships. Our children are messed up. Life is just, there's nothing. And then what we do is make excuses about it. Well, we can't be perfect. Everybody's sin. I have this family member, I'll put it that way, that I'm pretty close to of late. And the family member asked me to do a favor for them. They said, if you do me this favor, then I'll repay you in this way. I said, oh, okay, that sounds good. And so I did them the favor, and it was concerning money. And I don't believe in giving family member money. If you want to lose a friendship real fast, get money involved, because they ain't going to pay back, especially black folks. One thing about black people, they ain't going to pay you back. That's why the banks go out of business. Never loan a desperate person money. That's right. I had a friend who had a family member in desperate situation. Oh, I need some money. I need some money. And this friend asked me, should I do it? I'm like, no, don't do it. What do you mean, should I do it? A person in a desperate situation with money has not managed their life well. They're not going to pay you back. They're going to lose that money, and they're going to go somewhere else and borrow. And then they're going to hide from you because they know they're not going to pay you back. Yes, sir.
I asked for a loan one time, and the person didn't lend it to me. And I was happy in the end he didn't.
That's right.
I really was. He was
Yeah.
right, and I thanked him for it later.
That's right.
But I wanted to make a point about what I heard. I thought it was so interesting about standing up in the right situation. I think there's an energy of divine justice that is all around us. You know, when you have right and wrong, there's more power behind right, I believe.
All the
There's more
time.
power behind it.
Yeah,
And
when
people
you
don't
do it,
realize
you
that.
have to be right in order
Exactly,
to be effective
yeah.
in the right way.
Right.
You can't be wrong and then
Yeah.
try to stand up
Yeah.
or lay hands on folks and all
Yeah.
this stuff. You have to be right because when you're wrong, you got the wrong spirit dealing with you. Remember in the Bible, it talks about some people who were going around and trying to heal, and they what happened? They went up on somebody that was possessed, and they said that we're going to heal you in the name of Jesus, and something, and the demon said, "Well, I know Paul, I know Jesus, but I don't know who you are," and the demon took over them, right? He attacked them. So if you're not right, if you don't have the righteousness of God operating through you, don't be going out there laying hands on them. And don't be standing up to folks, you'll get beat up. This has to be just for the folks out there. You must be of righteousness in order for this to work. If you are angry and all that mess, don't do what we were talking about. All right? So you don't blame me.
I was trying to explain one time to a friend of mine that if you have private property, you own a piece of property, and someone comes on your property, I mean, of course, the law says it's your property too, but there are certain rights. There's a power behind that you can tell that person to leave. Or you have rights. There are certain rights.
And they will see that in you. The light will shine in you, and the demon will see it that's working through other people, and it has an influence. It's not you influencing. It's not of yourself at all, but it's the Spirit of God that's inside of you, and it's doing the work on your behalf. And they will see it. You won't see it or feel it or taste it or touch it, but they will. Jim, I want to ask you something before you get, because we're running out of time here. Today we're dealing with, in the Bible it says, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. How many perfect people we have? No perfect, just one little girl, and I believe that. Right on. Nobody else here is perfect. How many Christians? A whole bunch of Christians, but no perfect. And so, Jim, are you perfect?
No.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
And why are you not perfect?
I've fallen short, I would say, of, I make mistakes.
And
she's answering for me. But I think that's a question we all have to ask ourselves, and that's something that we want to. Life to me is constant improvement, and being fair about seeing your own faults. I think what people fail to do is that they're not objective with themselves.
That's right.
They're
Know
not objective.
thyself.
Know
not
thyself.
your neighbor. Don't worry about your neighbor. Know thyself. But have you thought before today, wow, I'm a Christian? Are you a son of God or just a Christian?
I think about it every day when I wake up.
About what?
Well, I remind myself that I'm supposed to obey a certain set of principles. And I read a little bit. Every day I read something. I have this really neat little abbreviated Bible. It has all the little parables. And I just read a little bit, and I just kind of remind myself to start off the day that we have to live accordingly. We can't just... What you're saying is you can't one day kind of feel like you are and the next day feel you're not. It's something that you have to recognize every day.
Do you want to be perfect?
Of course. I think
you want to be.
Of course. I think everybody should want to be as close as they... I think that...
Why are you not there if you want to be? Do you believe that you can be?
Yes, I think that's possible.
You believe it's possible, and you want it. So why not? Why you're not that already?
Well, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? I thought it was kind of funny when... What was your name? Gene. When he said, I'd rather have a few animals than a crazy wife. And I was thinking, geez, how would you like to have 2 dogs, 4 cats, a cockatiel, and 2 guinea pigs, and a crazy wife?
You have that? Wow. No wonder you're not perfect. Bible go to God. Are you perfect?
I am not.
And why not?
Because I see that I'm motivated by either avoiding bad feelings or gravitating toward things that'll make me feel good. And lately, I have been very urgent about finding this perfect peace that you've been talking about the last few weeks. Like when some kind of crisis happens, you're not feeling it. I really like that. And I was driving to work.
What can make you perfect?
What would make me perfect? Staying out of my head, staying out of my thoughts.
Staying out of your thought would make you perfect. Okay. Let me go way in the back. Are you a Christian?
Yes.
You're a Christian. And are you perfect?
Nope.
And do you believe you could be perfect?
Yeah.
And why you're not perfect?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure why you're not?
No, I'm not sure.
So you believe you could be it, but you're not sure
Yeah.
what can make you perfect?
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
You're still working on it. And how are you working on it? What are you doing?
Through prayer, meditation, and just being aware of my thoughts.
How do you know you're not perfect?
Believe me, I know. I know I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Kelly? Now, you perfect?
Yes.
You are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And what made you perfect?
Just knowing God.
Knowing God?
Yeah.
And how do you know you're perfect?
Because whenever my thoughts or, life seems to go, quote unquote bad or something like that, there's always, I come back to peace. And it's not me bringing myself back to peace. It's like I get pulled out of it. Yeah.
Do you have anger?
No.
You don't have anger at all?
No.
So you never get angry?
I mean, it's like a temptation, but I know that it's not really me.
And when you say a temptation, what does that mean?
It's I don't really know how to say it, but I know it's not, I don't identify with it.
So are you saying you feel it, but you don't go with it or identify with it?
Right.
Oh, okay. So you do get it, but you don't go with it?
Right, and it's not very frequent.
Just every blue moon.
Well, I don't know how to say, I guess.
I saw this major, huge moon recently. You see that moon? It took up the whole backside of the sky because it was on the east. And it was big. And I said, Kelly must be angry.
There you go.
No, okay. Right here.
A Christian, not perfect.
You're not perfect?
No.
And why not?
I keep seeing faults.
You see faults in yourself? Mm-hmm. And that's what makes you not perfect?
Right.
And how can one become perfect? You believe that you can be perfect?
Yes.
And how?
I guess admitting your faults when they come up.
I'm sorry?
Admitting your faults when you see them.
Are you guessing?
No. But I mean, every time you see a fault, you just have to say, oh, nothing I can do about it, but I see it.
Do you have anger?
Yes.
You do?
I think
you do?
So. Yes, I believe so.
Dave, you're a little wannabe Christian.
Yeah.
And are you perfect?
No.
Oh, you just read my Bible, right?
I did.
Do you remember what you read? Don't say, but do you remember?
In your translation or in the Bible verse?
Yeah.
Your translation?
In the Bible translation, what you read, do you?
Yeah, I remember what
okay, don't say.
Okay.
This is so good, it's going to blow your mind.
Oh, so you liked it?
I love it.
All right.
And I had never seen it this way before.
Me neither.
Until right now, and it blew my mind. The lights came on.
That's funny. I scoffed at it.
I know. You're the same guy that wouldn't help me heal the man. He scoffed at it. Oh, that's interesting. Yes, sir.
Two quick things. One, we were talking about loaning money to friends or family.
Yeah.
And I think what I've learned is the people that will pay you back will never ask for it in the first place.
Yeah.
And
that's a very good point.
So I think gentleman over there said divine energy of justice.
Yes.
which I didn't really understand or identify, but the word choice, I don't know if he has like an elaborate explanation of it or not, but the word choice to me means when someone says, you can be a Christian, but you can do this and that, and it's okay, that they're weak.
Yes.
They're conveying weakness.
That's right.
They cannot be strong and say, listen, you guys can all get drunk, you guys can do whatever you want, and you'll be great, and everyone's going to feel good, and that can't happen. He has to become weak. He has to be like, well, look, we're all trying our best.
I know.
And so even if you don't have the words, you can identify the spirit, you can identify the energy, and be like, I don't trust weak men.
That's right.
That's evil.
Are you perfect?
No.
And why not?
I play God. I judge myself and
Okay.
others.
How about you, Frank? Are you perfect?
I'm becoming perfect.
You are?
Yes.
How?
Being more in the spirit, being strong, unemotional, drawing close to Him.
Are you perfect?
No.
Do you believe you can be?
Yeah.
And why you're not?
Because I don't keep an eye on myself as closely as I should.
And so how does one become perfect?
By doing that.
By keeping an eye on themselves?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. And why do you keep an eye on yourself?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I found,
This is about being perfect, right?
yeah, this is about love and being perfect.
Okay. Where
And
did you
that-
find this at?
1 John chapter 4, verse 18.
Yes. Go ahead.
It says, in love there is no room for fear, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear implies punishment, and whoever is afraid has not come to perfection in love.
Just think about this. God created us in His image. He created us. And in His image, there is no anger, no doubt, no fear, no punishment, no nothing. He's all love all the time. God is love. And so that means if we are children of God and we have His nature, because we are now born again of His nature, we return back to the Father, then our nature would be all love all the time. And in perfect love, you're being made perfect. Because in every given situation, you're being made perfect, because in perfect love, you do not overreact to anything. You have no opinion about anything. You're not judging anything. You're not hating anything. And in every given moment, because you're not overreacting, you have the nature of your Father, which is perfect love. You're being made perfect. That's how you become perfect. You have to first return to the Father, overcome that anger, because the anger that you have is of your father, the devil. And in his nature, there is no love. None at all. That's why your kids are messed up, your relationships are messed up, your financial life messed up. You have fear and doubt and worry and all that going on because there is no love in anger. None. So you can't be made perfect like that. So people who say, well, you can't be perfect, they're right, because they are still of their father, the devil. They have his nature. They have not been born again. So in Matthew, just to add to what the Bible goes to, God said, because he's right, except for it's not about fear, it's about not, it's about living from the nature of your Father, your Creator, because we are made in His image. And so in chapter 5, verse, I think I'll read 43 to 48. You have heard how it was said, you will love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say this to you, love your enemy and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be children of your Father in heaven. For he causes his sun, S-U-N, to rise on the bad as well as the good, and send down rain to fall on the upright as the wicked alike. For if you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Do not even the tax collector do as much? And if you save your greetings for your brother, are you doing anything exceptional? Do not even the Gentiles do as much? You must therefore set no bounds to your love, just as your heavenly Father set none to his. Love has no boundary. Love is enemy. He loved the whore on the street. He loved the bum. It loved the taxpayer. It loved the one that talk about you and badmouth you and try to destroy you. It loves the family members who turn on you. It loves the one who disagree with you. It has no hate. And that's how you're being made perfect. Perfect love makes you perfect because it's of your Father, God. And God is love, and his love is perfect. And he doesn't punish us. He doesn't make us feel guilty. Satan will tell you that he does, but he doesn't. Satan makes you feel guilty. Satan makes you feel wrong. Satan makes you have an opinion about it. God doesn't allow you to have an opinion, because when you have an opinion, you're playing God. And as long as you play God, then you never will know him. So the way to become perfect is to overcome the anger by forgiving, so that you can enter into the kingdom of heaven within, meaning return to your Father within, and then you can live a perfect life. You can't make mistakes. Mistake is not a sin. It was a mistake for James to get beat up out there on playing volleyball, whatever you're doing. What are you playing? Soccer. That was a mistake. That's not a sin. A sin is judging, hating your fellow man, making decisions, playing God. Once you're born again, you do not do that. You relax and live. And so the way you're going to be made perfect, you got to return to perfect love. You cannot have any anger in you at all, because it's the nature of the devil. That's why he get rid of that when you forgive others. He'll forgive you. He'll take that thing that's made a home inside of you and get rid of it, because it's spiritual. And then you will return to his nature, your true identity, which is his image that he created us in. Isn't that deep? It's so simple, huh? At least to me it is. Who is not simple to? Any questions about that? So here's what I suggest, that you forgive. You got to start with your parents, yourself. But once you forgive your parents, everything is gone. He take that spirit away, and there's you don't hate anyone. Our parents have a major effect on our lives in a negative way. And if you don't honor your parents, or you don't love your parents, you can't skip over that. You got to forgive your parents, and God will forgive you, and then you can move forward. You can operate in love.
Do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, remember me.
Remember the assignment. Even the Bible go-to guy. Raw. But that's good, G. Stay with that. Doubt it, doubt it, doubt it, doubt it.
Even this morning, I wanted to go to the Starbucks because there's some pretty girls, and they're nice to me.
Not for the coffee, huh?
And not really. I don't care. Because like when I go and there's some guys at the window, I'll be like, I wasted my money. You know what I mean? But I was like, I wanted to go so bad before coming here. I was like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen.
That's right. And it's amazing how the thoughts tempt you with that, and you can feel it.
Yep.
And then if you do it, especially since you're seeking what's right, you think, wow, I wish I had not done that. You were tempted by the thought to do it, you felt it, and you did it. That's good, man.
And I realize they don't like being watched.
Right.
They like disappears.
They hate being watched. The worst thing you can do to your imagination is to watch it. to watch thoughts, they cannot last. And because it's God who is shining the light on the darkness, and the darkness cannot handle the light. And your thoughts are dark. They are of the darkness. James, do you remember the conversation I was having with you about reality as opposed to non-reality?
Yes.
Can you share it with them so they'll know that this is real?
There's nothing real that we're thinking about.
Yeah.
The memories from, for example, your trip to Tennessee and stuff that happens that people think about or mistakes that they make and they try to fix it or they try to protect themselves from the consequences and they make it worse for themselves.
Yeah.
It's all based on non-reality. It's not based on what we have here and now.
You know how people they'll do something stupid, they'll get in trouble, then they'll try to fix it, try to prevent consequences, right? And so they'll go and try to resolve it and created a problem for themselves, and now they got to go through extra trouble. Whereas if they just realize they made a mistake or they did something stupid and have no opinion about it, it works itself out. Have you noticed that? And I was telling James that I went to Tennessee, and I realized today that it doesn't even exist anymore. It's like it never happened. It's done. It's not in existence anywhere except in my memory. And if I didn't think about
that, Satan doesn't just want you to hate yourself and feel sorry about parents and all these, big things.
Yeah.
He wants you to lose your keys.
Everything.
He wants you to go talk to some girl, or he wants you to do anything that you shouldn't do.
That's right. That is so. Isn't it amazing all the things he tells you and be talking to you about and want you to get involved in? And
I think
it's absolutely no wonder people go insane.
I think the amazing part is when you see how much effort and energy you put into your thoughts, and a fraction of that, you don't have any thoughts. You just remember where it was, or you just think all love all the time, or something like that, and then the words come out of you, and it's better than anything you could have ever said.
That's right.
And
that's deep. That is so deep. We could go home.
These things that you never thought you could even say, they make your loved ones feel good. They make them feel safe, and you cannot do that by reading a book or planning something, or you just can't.
Yes, sir. Wow. At least one Christian. He doesn't care about the thousands. He just cares about that one that's seeking him. G, did you remember the assignment? Oh, you did. Did you do it?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I like he said, I did it a bunch of times. Like even this morning driving here, I could see far away, like there was like a little traffic jam, and I could see it was a semi truck. Something happened to it, and I want to look at it so bad, and that's why the cars are going slow.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna look. I'm not gonna look and
that's
worry
right.
about that. So that, and then I just had a bunch of things happen to me yesterday that I felt like he was just trying to frustrate me. Because ever since I started coming here, I haven't felt, frustrated or angry or any type of way.
Yes.
And then yesterday, it was just crazy.
So you tested the spirit. And what we were talking about last week, I said from this Sunday until next Sunday, I want you to test the spirit. Meaning, don't believe any thought you get. For 1 week, just don't believe them. Let them all pass, and you will hear from God. And God said, my children shall know me by my voice. And people listen to the voices in their heads, quoting the scriptures and everything, and they think that that's from God, and it's not. And so I asked the congregation, for 1 week only, don't listen to the voice. And as you heard, most of them forgot. Did you? I want to talk about being perfect. I hear a lot of Christians, a lot of people say, you cannot be perfect. And so don't worry about it. Nobody's perfect. You can't be perfect. But before I get into that, there was an assignment that I gave out last Sunday. And Do you remember what the assignment was?
No, I don't.
And you were here last Sunday, right?
I'm sure that I was.
Yeah.
Practicing, no, I can't remember.
He's the Bible go-to guy, so I know he remembers.
Wrong. I do not remember.
The assignment was to test the spirit.
Yes. Did you do it?
Yes.
And tell us about it.
I just recognize the words as Satan and the voiceless voice as God. So I'm getting better at ignoring the words. And I have like little tests all the time.
All the time.
Find my wallet, find my keys, go here, go there. And it's like, what I learned this week was